Alrighty. Hello everyone, Scott Scoot Belmont back with another video. It's going to be a little different this time. We're not doing a VOD review or any stream highlights or any other gameplay. Today I'm going to teach you how to draft an OK team comp, and by OK I mean it's going to be very basic, like how to draft a decent team comp that has some cohesion, that has, something that can go for it, that can be good in a team for a competitive setting. So anywhere from amateur to NACS all the way up to LCS. This is probably going to be useful as a starter basic beginner guide and how to understand picks and bans, how people might think during these picks and bans, and what you can do to analyze a good draft and a bad draft. So we're going to start off here. As I find the button, that's not the right button. With the blue goons versus the red loons. We're going to assume that everyone is good at every champion, or at least on equal level. And I'm going to try to take this with you step by step, and I'm going to be drafting for both sides. So it's going to be a little difficult. I'm going to be strapped for a little bit of time, but we're going to do our best to draft average team comps that are cohesive and have clear goals. Very basic goals, very basic cohesion. This is just kind of a starter guide. So, to start off with, normally for these first three bans, you're going to either target, especially on blue side, you're either going to target ban one thing away that you don't want to see and that you don't want to pick. For example, Jace. He's a very OP pick right now. Those lethality still hasn't gone down. Jace hasn't been nerfed yet. So Jace being banned away, and they're probably going to waste a ban on it too, so you might as well take it out yourself. That's not the best reasoning, but if you don't want to see Jace in the game, you don't want it, they're probably going to ban it anyway. This forces them to ban something else. So, going back to, once again, OP picks, Camille, she's been pretty OP for a while. She hasn't been really hit hard by anything yet. Her mobility is still insane. She can travel halfway across the map in half a second. I know it's an exaggeration, but Camille, OP pick. Red side does not want to see blue side try to first pick that. Going back to the blue side, we're going to see, once again, you might want to ban something less on the OP scale that you might want to first pick for yourself. Or you wouldn't want to first pick for yourself. So, Rengar is top tier. Kha'Zix is still kind of up there. Graves is up there, but you don't want to see Kha'Zix. Like, you're not going to draft it, and it's strong enough that they might if it's up. So Kha'Zix, it's an okay ban. It's not the best ban, but it's also not the worst ban. And it's not the best ban because, like I said, here's where the blue side would want to target ban you. Whereas red side, they're still trying to figure out what OPs they don't want to see. So one of these OPs might be Malzahar. Super big support, very oppressive. You don't want to see that in the bot lane. Red side, coming back to the blue side. Now, you already pinched the Kha'Zix, and you're going to have a very strong, first pick. So you might be able to take away that Graves, maybe they'll leave up Rengar, or maybe you want to do it the other way around. You ban away the Rengar, then they're either forced to ban away another OP, or ban away the Graves, and then everyone is left on second-rate junglers. So we're going to lock in that ban. That kind of pinches the jungle pool right now. So red side has an option. They can either ban another OP, like, let's just say Ryze, for example. Ryze is a super strong mid laner right now. He hasn't really been touched hard in these nerfs. Ryze might be a bannable thing. I think it might be the best option. You might just want to give away that Graves and then try to figure out what you want to jungle as later. So we're going to ban away this Ryze. And we know they're going to pick up the Graves. So I'm just going to hover this for now while I explain what red side might want to do from here. Red side, they did leave up a couple of strong supports and a couple of strong ADCs. Jhin is still available. They basically have their pick when it comes to supports, ADCs, top laners, mid laners. They could pick, like, Syndra first pick if they really wanted to. But assuming I am drafting right now as the coach, red side, they're going to go the safe route and they're going to draft a super strong, super oppressive bot lane. So step one of this super oppressive bot lane is going to be the Jhin as soon as I find him. Because Jhin, he has that long range engage, he can long range snare, and I'm just going to have to type in the search bar. Jhin. Alrighty, he has that long range snare, he has the long range damage, he is extremely good in, 2v2s, especially with a super strong support like Nami or Karma or Zyra, especially Zyra. Jhin Zyra is basically cancer. So we're going to go with the super strong Jhin Zyra. You're never going to be able to touch Jhin in the late game, and you're going to have something that's going to be able to keep that super big Graves away. So now you don't have to pick your ADC just yet. You still have your pick of the litter when it comes to supports as blue side. So you might want to pick a super strong top laner or a very strong mid laner to counteract what you might be seeing. So Syndra, you might be thinking this is going to be a very good pick alongside the Graves because the kill pressure mid is going to be insane. It's a risky pick because it can be counter-picked, but you're going for hard, let's kill them right now comp. So you're going to pick the Syndra. And you don't want your ADC pool to be pinched. You're okay with the support pool kind of going down a little bit because, you're going to have a decent amount of supports. So, Ashe, Varus, they're still available. I think Ashe does better into Jhin because you have your arrow that can come out. So we're going to pick Ashe to counterpick this Jhin right now because you think arrow for his level 6, you're going to stop him, and it's going to make everything an easier time. Now, the Red Loons, they want to pick their jungler now before it goes into the next ban phase and you don't have a jungler. So we can either go for a tanky disengage in Gragas or very rare pick Nocturne, or we can go for a more pick oriented comp. So we're gonna pick Elise because we want some early game kill pressure and we want mid to late game pick comp with that Elise Zyra. That's gonna be insane, especially if you land the stun into the Jhin snare. It's gonna be crazy. So now that we're going for this pick comp, red side is gonna want to ban a hyper tank or two because you can't pick off a hyper tank. We're gonna ban out Nautilus here because it is impossible to kill him, and his point and click knockup is going to be impossible to run away from for someone like Jhin or someone like Zyra. So we're going to take away this Nautilus, knowing that they haven't picked their top laner. We're going to pinch their top lane pool. The blue side, they already have what they want in the Syndra, so they might want to pick away potential counters to this Syndra. They know they can counter, a long-range Cassiopeia or Corki, who has fallen a bit out of favor. So we're going to ban the Corki away, because we know his poke can definitely do well alongside Jhin, Zyra, Elise. It's not the best for, well, actually it's pretty good for a pick comp, and although he has, like I said, fallen a bit out, it's still an okay ban. Now for the red side next ban, once again we can pinch that top lane champion pool again. We can get rid of another hyper tank in Gragas or Maokai. I think getting rid of this Maokai is probably going to be the safest pick because once again, you want to be able to shred through the enemy team with your Jhin and be able to kill someone really quickly. So taking away that hyper tank, pinching that top lane champion pool, it's going to force them onto something a little bit squishier. As your last ban for the blue side, you know that they have the first pick red side. You don't know what they're going to pick. So you might be thinking it could be smart to ban away another mid laner or a top laner. It's going to be difficult to get in there. Gragas might be an okay ban. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to pick Gragas here because you can put him in the top lane and he can disengage Graves, and he can disengage his Syndra. He can take a Syndra ultimate. So now the red side has their first pick. They want something tanky, probably, but top lane pool just got pinched. Poppy is still available. She can tank pretty much everything. And she's pretty good in a pick comp because she also has her own stun, and she has an anti-runaway move in her W. So let's pick Poppy for that top lane. This gives the Blue Goons a little bit of freedom because now they can safely pick someone like Kennen or Rumble, who does do well into Poppy up until the mid to late game, until Poppy gets way too tanky for them. The only problem with picking Kennen or Rumble is that they're going to be not tanky enough, so you're going to need to pick some hard engage. So Kennen, Gonna be okay. Yeah, he's gonna be okay for hard engage. You're gonna want him in there. Plus his on hit is gonna give him a little bit of dominance over Poppy. It's going to be difficult for him to get in against the Zyra and Elise, but if he gets a good flank and gets on top of the Jhin, that's going to be a dead Jhin, no matter what. And now we have our support pick. Support, I think the best way to go right here would be Nami, because in lane, that's going to be super oppressive, and if you time it right with the Zyra and Jhin cooldowns, you can definitely get on top of them, as well as the long range engage and disengage and the sustain from that Nami. So now the Red Loons have their last pick. They want a good mid laner. They want someone who can kind of carry them into the next stages of the game, because right now, Elise, Poppy, Zyra, that's a good amount of damage. So let's go with a little more damage. And as soon as I can find my Cassiopeia, I think this will be a super strong pick, because once again, it can lead into a lot more damage. And I know I might be a little bit behind on these picks. I did not mention that we are on 7.5 with this pick and ban, so I could be a little bit outdated, but I did mention, or I did let LeBlanc fall through. Those nerfs hit her really, really hard on her distortion, so I don't see her being picked anytime soon. And even if she was, you can just counter that with a Cassiopeia or someone who can just get right on top of her immediately. But let's go over this current pick and ban right now. Blue Goons, they're going to have a lot of early kill pressure, especially at level 6 with that Graves Syndra or Graves Ashe Nami in the bot lane, or the Graves Kennen in top. These laners have a good amount of CC, so that Graves doesn't have to bring any. That wasn't something I mentioned earlier. Syndra, she has her stun. Kennen has a stun. Ashe, Nami, they have slows and stuns. Graves, all he has to do is walk in a lane and deal some damage. Early game, the Blue Goons are going to be pretty good. The Red Loons, however, they can match that early game in every lane except for mid. Because for Poppy, it's going to be difficult for Graves to get in, because she can just run away with her W up. So unless Graves gets some creative pathing, or if Kennen, you know, pokes her down pretty quickly, it's going to be pretty difficult to get onto the Poppy. I mean, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult to get down onto the Poppy, but it's still doable. However, with Cassiopeia, that is going to be an easy kill every single time. You just stun her and then blow everything onto the Cass. You force her to use her flash and ghost, and then you just, you know, you constantly keep Cass under tower. You make sure she can't do anything. As far as the Red Loons early game goes, easy gank bot lane. You do Zyra snare into Elise stun into Jhin root, and it's just going to be an easy kill because you chain that CC. Nami and Ashe, they don't really have anything until level 6 to stop that kind of gank, unless Nami lands a god bubble, which is rare but has happened. So you're going to want to see the Red Loons gank bot lane pretty early on. Going into the mid lane, I mean the mid game and team fight stages though, I would give the advantage to the Red Loons, because they can disengage that Kennen. They can, you know, stop him in his tracks with the Cassiopeia ultimate or the Poppy ultimate. Jhin and Zyra are going to be way too far back for anyone to get to them, so letting that through already was a problem. And then not picking your top laner until the later stage, where the champion pool was completely pinched and you weren't going to be doing anything about it. That was a bad draft by the Blue Goons right there, though it kind of was salvageable, because like I said, if Kennen can get a good flank and Nami gets a good tidal wave and Ashe, you know, hits an arrow, it's going to be a doable engage. Syndra can just blow someone up unless it's the Poppy, and then Graves is going to be able to blow someone up unless it's the Poppy. The Red Loons, they're going to have an easier time in team fights because they land 1 CC, they land them all, and then Jhin follows up with damage, Cassiopeia follows up with a lot of damage. Hell, even Zyra has a little bit of damage. Elise, she's going to have her damage as well, so no matter who they land their stun on, they're going to blow up and they're going to die. So Blue Goons are going to have to pick their fights extremely wisely, like forcing a fight around Baron or forcing a fight around Dragon, because they're going to want to get those people into those tight spaces, have Kennen and Nami follow up with all their CC. As far as a straight up 5v5 team fight in the middle of mid lane goes, I honestly would give it to the Blue Goons because Elise, that's single target CC, so she's not going to be very good in the way of CC, but damage she will be. Jin, he's going to be good on damage, but if he gets too close, then he can't open up his ultimate, which means he has to keep auto attacking, which means he's going to reset his auto attacks, but he should be able to blow someone up on the 4th shot, and then, his reload should be safe. Graves, Syndra, Ashe, they're going to be pretty strong in that mid game, so they shouldn't really have much of a problem. Unless Poppy gets a little bit of a lead, which shouldn't happen, especially against Kennen, because Kennen can kite pretty easily. There are a lot of, small problems with each of these comps that I drafted here, but overall, they're decent. And, when you only have those 30 seconds to think, you can, get a little ahead of yourself or get a little away from yourself when you see especially that entire list of champions and it's like, Alawi, Heimerdinger, Rammus. It's like, it can get a little stressful. And also, especially when you have 5 other voices in your head saying, I don't think that's a good idea, or I think this would be a better option, or somewhere along those lines. It can get a little hairy, but overall, this is what a draft kind of should look like. And like I said, Blue Goons, I obviously messed it up with that top lane pick. I should not have let the top lane go so far. Syndra that early on probably should not have been such a priority. Letting the support fall though, that's an okay idea, because pinching the support pool is not very smart to begin with unless you know that they have a specific pool of champions, and I did say we're going to assume everyone is good at everything, so let's not pay that any mind. There are other options that could have been used for bans, like Karma or Varus, who are on the more OP side. Varus, as you'll notice, I did let fall through picks and bans, but that's because as a coach personally, I would prefer Jhin or Ashe any day over Varus. Unless they banned Jhin and then picked Ashe away, would I pick Varus, or even then I might consider Ezreal, especially on patch 5.5, 7.5. But I can get into that reasoning a little bit later should I do another one of these videos. The next one can be about, how to draft a specific type of comp, and if they are going to try to pick that away, how to adapt mid pick and ban strategy. Things do get a little hairy in picks and bans, and I know this isn't like from the experience of someone on the LCS stage, but as someone who has worked as an analyst for 2 years and as a head coach for one of them, I feel like this was an okay tutorial. And if you don't think so, then feel free to downvote me or tell me I am stupid and should die or something. Classic League of Legends flaming. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please subscribe. Please, tell your friends, hey, I know this good coach, you should give him a job, because I'm still looking for one. But, things are going to come and go. My hair, right now, though, is here to stay. My logo, I have short hair, but I'm letting it grow out. I don't know when I'm going to cut it, but I think it looks nice. I just need to, get a nice pick in there and tweeze it out, But anyway, thank you again for watching. The video is basically over at this point, so if you want to leave now, you can. I'm just going to talk a little bit more because I like the sound of my own voice. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, because I have this weird ass sleep schedule. Like, I'm watching LCK right now, and KT Rolster. They had a pretty decent draft. I don't know why they banned Karma against Jhin Air. I mean, Snowflower's not even that good. Jhin Air actually drafted Jhin Zyra. They also drafted Vladimir. So, I wasn't really paying attention to their draft. I have no idea what went on. So, once again, thanks for watching. I can't say it enough. I really appreciate every single view, every single subscriber I get. Because every little thing, it helps. Every little thing helps. I want to be a coach. I love coaching. And seeing this become a success, it's exactly what I want to do. I want to be on that LCS stage as well. Although, I do have some good news. I might, or may, it's likely, be getting an interview with a college team, so you know it's not LCS, but it's definitely a step up from sitting on my couch or bussing tables all night. So I'm super looking forward to that. You know, if anything else comes up, feel free to let me know. If you're a manager or an owner looking for a nice coach, I'm always available for talking about it. Or if you just want someone at, you know, hey, can you help us out for a little bit? I'm glad to help. I always love, you know, talking League of Legends. I hate playing it. I haven't played it in a while. But yeah, you get my drift now. Now the video is pretty much over. I think the Patreon I have up there is dead because I was a little ambitious and got ahead of myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a whole bunch of things. I'm gonna do it all the time, and I'm gonna make a Patreon because you know people make Patreons nowadays, right? And that was a silly idea. But yeah, thanks again. Look forward to the next video. Like I said, that one should be on trying to draft a specific comp. If this one gets some, you know, good feedback and gets some suggestions like, hey, can you please like, here's some information, draft me a good team comp. And it's like, all right, I'll do a mock draft for your team. So yeah, I'll basically do anything as long as it is related to coaching. I just love this job. I really do. All right, thanks again.